Okay, little technical difficulty there. Yes, today we are here on a Wednesday. Usually we do the lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but this has been such an amazing experience that I am bringing on a special friend today. So I'm really excited. Thank you guys for coming on in. Shout out to Crush Magazine Models. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Yay. Here we are on another Choose Your Path IG series with me, your host, celebrity publicist, and motivational speaker, Sherontelle Dirskell. Yay! All right, let's bring on my special guest here. Here we go. Okay. Okay, I have some technical difficulties. Not in the way of my phone. I looked at my jeans and I said, oh no, I can't go on like that.
I don't blame you. It's
Isn't that funny?
Worth the extra
no, really.
couple minutes.
So here we are in another Choose Your Path IG series, this amazing, cool idea that I came up with that I will bring on my friends and have a conversation and just talk about life, talk about music, talk about whatever we're creating, how we're experiencing this pandemic called COVID-19. And yeah, just to enjoy. I know that we're going to have an amazing hour with my friend Craig Handley. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you.
I've been excited for weeks.
You've been excited for weeks. I know, right? Isn't it crazy? Someone reached out to me today and I said, oh my goodness, I am really booked, I think, into November. Yeah, look, you're like, hello, Craig.
This is like Christmas for me. You know, I'm like, is it Christmas morning yet?
Oh, wow. That is so cool. I had to turn that up so I can hear you. Okay, so today, everyone, let me just go ahead and introduce my special guest here. We have Craig Handley, who is an entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, author of best-selling book. Oh, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to surprise everybody with the amazing title, and we're going to talk about that later. So just hang on there because I have a surprise for everyone that, you know, tunes in and engage, ask questions. We're here for it. You here for it? Because I'm here for it.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. So I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. How about you?
I'm originally from Maine, the nice state of Maine, which most people on a map, they go, what do you mean Maine? I say Boston. I'm from Boston. So
you're but you say Maine though, right?
Yeah, it's an hour north of Boston, but most people just don't know. They don't know the difference.
I thought about coming up to Maine this summer to visit, but then with all the advisories and, you know, with the traveling advisories during that time, I was like, forget it. So I only made it to Rhode Island. I think I went to 2 different places. Providence, I spent some time there. And then it was another one. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. I want to say Newport, but we were actually outside of Newport. But I didn't make it to Maine.
There's really no issues with the COVID. I mean, everybody's being safe. The weather's a perfect, like 70 degrees, so there's picnic tables out and tents. And, I mean, it's almost better right now. I don't know if that's going to hold true in the winter. It's going to be kind of cold to eat outside when the snow starts to fall. But what can you do?
What can you do? Well, you can't really do anything but just roll with it. Roll with the waves, right? So let's talk about, I posted a song with one of the flyers, Forever Young, Rod Stewart, because when I look at your pictures, that's what it makes me feel like, forever young. Like you take living the experience of life in a whole different, somewhere else. Like, let's see if I can share some of those. It works. Who is that guy?
Yeah, that's fun. I wasn't always like that, right? I had an aunt who always was whistling, and she never had a lot. Her husband abused her, and he was an alcoholic, and she never had a lot. And I was bullied as a young kid. I mean, I think probably a lot of listeners could probably relate to that. And it wasn't just one kid. I had probably 10 kids waiting for me after school.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I had to move. We literally moved from one city to another because there were so many kids that just wanted to pick on me. And so I found my way into the weight room, and I've always, since that time, I put on 80 pounds in a summer of muscle. And the first kid at this new town that tried to say boo to me, I tackled him and beat him up because I didn't want anybody to start bullying me. But what it does to you psychologically is your brain has, it's called neuroplasticity in your brain, where your brain gets shaped based on early childhood experiences. And so for me, your brain has three functions. You either want to fear it, you want to fight it, or you want to, the other F, you want to have sex with it.
Exactly.
and for me, I had this fear, and I really wanted to overcome it. So it put these chips on my shoulders, and so I just really wanted to prove myself that I was worthy to walk the planet, like everybody else. And so whenever I just said, I'm going to do everything. I am going to live. So in some ways, what happened to me as a child, turned out to be pretty positive because, and I don't know how it works. I know that I write things down on a piece of paper. If I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. If I write it down, anything I've ever written down, I've been able to achieve. So, and just to give you an idea of my list, I wanted to meet the Dalai Lama. I met the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
I wanted to meet Snoop Dogg. I consulted for Snoop Dogg with some marketing stuff. Akon, the remaining living Beatles. Not only did I meet Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, but I met George Harrison's wife and Yoko Ono and Paul McCartney's son.
That is amazing.
I'm like, the only one I haven't met is, I guess, John Lennon's son would be, maybe to add to my list. And I did it in the most unique ways. I didn't just meet Ringo Starr. I got invited to his birthday party with 100 other people. And I was in the audience. I was sitting next to Jim Carrey. And Ringo, my seats were so good that Ringo was sitting behind me. I wanted to see Ringo, and I was like...
And you wrote it down. And you're like, there he is.
Yeah, my bucket list isn't a normal person's bucket list. I wrote down things that I never thought I'd do in my life.
That is amazing.
And it's just crazy. And like I didn't want to just go skydiving. I wanted to jump out of an airplane from 30,000 feet or higher. And I ended up doing a halo dive at 32,000 feet, high altitude, low opening. I was the 85th civilian in the world to jump out of an airplane from that height with oxygen.
If you could, take me through that experience from walking and getting to the plane to getting ready to make, I want to see that. Can you give me that image?
It's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? And you got to understand, to get that high in the plane you're jumping out of, you have to wear oxygen going up, because once you're over 12,000 feet, if your oxygen isn't turned on, you'll pass out. And they'll just throw you out of the plane, right? You'll wake up back around 12,000 feet. But going up, it's almost 30 minutes to get to that high, altitude. And we did it in Memphis, outside of Memphis, Tennessee. And the plane could only take off in between big commercial flights. So you can only put 3 people at a time in the plane. And I was with a group of 10 people. And so 3 people went up, and then we had to wait an hour. 3 people go up, you had to wait an hour.
Yeah.
And so I had this thing. I didn't care if I was first or last in this particular thing. I just wanted to have a good experience. And I ended up being the 85th civilian to jump. And again, you're going up, 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 and then it's fast. You're in the door and it's go. All of a sudden, you don't even have time to think. And then you're free falling. You're free falling for 7 minutes. You're like, whoo. If you ever want to feel like Superman, you're free falling.
I was just going to say, what does that feel like? Oh, man, that's amazing.
It's really cool. And the curvature of the earth, you can see it from the plane. And now when I fly commercial flights from flying, I can look out the window and go, why does it take 30 minutes to land this thing? Because I can get down in 7.
Oh my gosh. Every live, I always have a cup of coffee, right? And I was having a water with a lemon, but now I'm trying the lime, and I actually like the lime better. But sometimes I like both.
I brought some whiskey. I was like, I got a little whiskey for the conversation. Just,
Okay, that sounds good because I really think that drinks and conversation go together, right? What
I just
about
wanted to make sure I didn't dry up. I just want to make sure I didn't dry up for our conversation.
right, exactly, because we're here together for an entire hour. I
It's
like
not going to be
to
enough time. We need
it's
longer. We need more.
it's I'm telling you, it's not going to be enough time, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can in, right? So flow with me. I'm going to be going from the book. I'm going to be
I'll
going
try
from
to
the
keep up. I'll
music.
try to
I'm
keep
going to
up.
be going about, but I think that we vibe, so you'll be able to keep up. You'll be fine. So you have this amazing book, right? I even put my pages there because I didn't want to miss a beat because I want to talk about, I want to unlock a few things, right, in this book. And what is it? Oh my gosh, hire to quit, inspire to stay. This right here, when I said inspired to stay first, because that was the thing that stood out. Even, yes, hire to quit, but then I was like, inspired to stay. It almost sounds like, without opening the book, it almost sounds like a company has now designed some type of program where even though this may not be their employee's dream, they made it so comfortable that they wanted to stay, right? But no, that's why you can't judge a book by its cover, because once I opened it up, I found that I am connected to, and I am so grateful to have you as my friend. Like this
Oh,
experience right here, uh, I was so grateful for it. We had a table like a buffet, right? Oh my
it
gosh.
was pretty
So
impressive.
it was so impressive. Why companies fail. So I'm just going to share a little bit and then I want you to talk about it. One of the most epic and incredible trips I've ever been on was to Richard Branson's game reserve in Africa. At this point in time, Listen Trust, which is your company, was making $50,000 a week in profit. I felt confident that that going away to see the 5 game animals in the wild along with the African pigeons was a well-deserved break. Share that
It was a
experience.
well-deserved break. Yeah. And that trip also, we went to the World Cup finals and semifinals,
How
and it was epic.
how amazing was that?
It's pretty good. And we had monkeys right in the camp with us, and we had lions right in the camp and gazelles, and it was so cool.
And that's the beautiful thing about experiences, is that now you're taking me back and you sharing that experience with me, and I also get to enjoy it, right? Because you had that experience, and it almost makes me want to go ahead and say, like, is it even possible for me? That's the beautiful thing about once you step into your purpose and you live the life that you want to live on your terms, then no holds barred. You just live it, and someone knows. Just like that, I think there's a saying that you may be the only Bible that someone reads just through your life. So I was
Yeah,
just like
We
in
got we got
awe.
really close to a leopard eating a baboon, and the leopard attacked the jeep. Rawr! It was like we're like, okay, we're a little close to this leopard, you know. The
Tell me some
elephant.
reasons. I didn't mean to cut you off. Um,
No, but you didn't read the second half of that sentence right in that chapter.
no, go
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah, because I posted
protection.
that picture. So I'm like, here he is. He's in the picture with Richard Branson. How amazing is that? That's why I took that part out of there. But yes, we can go back to,
Well,
sharing.
the other part of that story is that halfway through that trip, we had something. And it's written in my book, but we had something happen where halfway through the trip we had lost some business, and halfway through the trip we were losing $70,000 a week.
Yes, I
Like
seen that.
it happened. It happened like this. I mean, we were halfway through the trip, and we were like, "What happened? We lost what?" And we literally had to. The second week of the trip, I was with my business partner, and he's like, "We're here. There's nothing we can do. Let's just enjoy where we're at, and we'll tackle it when we get back." I've gone through several turnarounds where one day I'm living on top of the world and making 50 to 70,000 a week, and then there was another time that I write about in the book where we had a client take 20,000 calls a week. Another business offered them equity for their business, and they moved it, and I was losing $15,000 a day for 30 days in a row. And then the next 30 days we were losing 10,000, and then 5, and then the month of August, which is the 4th month, I made $30 for the month. And I was back into making money, but it was
it was
not
tough.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to keep smiling, right? You just got to look for the silver lining in the gray cloud and keep your attitude up, and you really got to have faith that there's a path, whether you believe in God or Buddha or aliens or whatever the hell you believe in. No matter what it is, you got to believe that there's a path set out for you, and everything's happening for you, not to you, right? Everything's happening for you, not to you. How is this going to help you personally grow? And if you approach life with that attitude, there's nothing in the world that is bad. Everything in the world is good because it's for you.
So I know that we have this question, why companies fail. A lot of times I know we have that saying of fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yes, it can be. Yes.
Dive into that. Why do you think that why some companies don't, why they fail? I know that I highlighted here, most companies don't plan for success.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies just start to go, right? You have success and you just start to move forward, and you don't look at all the contingencies that can happen. You don't build a plan in your business. I firmly believe that you need to write a 3-year vision as to where your company is going to be 3 years from now and work backwards. I believe that you've got to look at a quad box. For example, if you've got a quadrant that's do now, a quadrant that's work in, a quadrant that's delay, and a quadrant that is don't do it, right? And you can only put like 1 or 2 projects in the do now if they're big, right? You've got to make sure that you don't try to overdo it, because you won't end up doing anything in your business. And it's hard to be patient. Growing a business successfully is almost as difficult as executing through a turnaround, right? I mean, the only difference is you're paying your bills on time as you're growing a business. When you're going through a turnaround, you don't pay any bills until they threaten to shut you off. And then you've got to make the phone call and you've got to say, look, I know I haven't paid, I owe you $1 million. I'm going to keep it current. I'm going to keep it current from here on out, and I'm going to pay down that $1 million a little bit each month. But in order for me to make back the money I owe you, you can't turn my services off. And there's a lot of tough calls in going through a turnaround, right? So a lot of people don't know what is all entailed in fixing a business when it's broken. But a lot of those same things happen as you're building a business. Like, there's a general principle in business that what got you here can't get you there. Mm-hmm. Well, in a lot of cases, the person that helped you get from 0 to $1 million can't get you to 5 million. And the person that got you to 5 million can't get you to 10. And the person that gets you to 10 can't get you to 20. So you almost have to turn over people that you know and love that are talented. The only people that can usually withstand the growth curve is people who have ownership in the business. So in a new business I started, I happened to give away a little bit of the company because I wanted people to be able to stay with me through that growth curve, as opposed to having to let them go and bring in new people. So, but it's very interesting dynamic in building out a business that sometimes people just reach the level where they just can't help you anymore. And so people generally don't have all the tools in place to succeed. Hiring people. It sounds easy, but you got to hire slow and fire quickly. And when I say that, a lot of people hire based on the pedigree. They'll look at their resume and they'll say, oh, this person's got an amazing resume. Mm-hmm. Who cares? What are their values? What are your values? And what are their values? And do your values align? And then can they handle all the things that you hate? Are they the opposite of you in many ways, but with the same values? Values and the way somebody thinks about life and about business is far more important than any pedigree, than any experience. I mean, I fired so many CFOs that thought me going on like a trip to South Africa with other entrepreneurs was a waste of money. And I'm like, this isn't a waste of money. I am building relationships, So you've got to find people who really fit with your values. So when I talk about most businesses don't plan to succeed, they don't do the work that they need to do to experience a success. The first thing they should do is build up their core values. and then start hiring for values first, and then hire for talent and skill second. And most people look at talent and skill, and they don't really look at values until it's too late.
And their business have failed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could keep going on the business side here, but
oh no,
I mean,
for sure. I mean, we can talk about that a whole entire hour. What about people who want to start a business, but they have all of these reasons of what we call the what if island?
What if island? And so in my book, I have a chapter called Dream Trust. Mm-hmm. And Matthew Kelly wrote a book called The Dream Manager, and John Butcher has a program called Life Book. And they have 12, I know, I want to boost my skills. Give me your opinion. I'll work on it. It's the third time he's posted it, so I had
that
to
is so.
tell
Oh, that's
him
probably a bot. It's always
yeah,
a bot
is? I don't know.
too. Probably.
Okay. I was like, well, this guy's posted 3 times. I want him to know I saw it.
Yes, because sometimes they'll ask me, are you drinking coffee? And I'm like, I always drink coffee.
Who knows?
It's like, do you have coffee? Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, I talk about Dream Trust. And when I was a kid growing up, I wanted to be a musician. My mom and dad said, you should get a real job. So I still applied to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I got accepted. I've got the letter. Congratulations. Yeah. And I've got my little letter about being accepted to Berklee, but I didn't have any money. So I joined the Army, and I joined the infantry. I'm going to serve my country, and they're going to give me college money to go to Berklee. And they gave me, $750 a month was my college money at the time. Berklee was still $29,000 a year, and now it's probably a lot more. But I mean, I'm not that old, but it was a few years ago. Forever young, right? Forever young.
Forever young, right.
So I did go to music college for a few years. I went to a local school and another school, but I just didn't have the money to go to Berklee, and it was always my dream to do that. And so as I was building my business, I recognized that most of my employees, I own a big call center. For a lot of people that are listening, they don't know I have about 800 people that work in a call center, and we do like 150 million a year in sales, and a lot of customer service calls and a lot of lead generation calls, and really great team of people who I could talk for an hour on how proud I am of the people that run that business for me. They started out like this guy, the general manager, Wankaida, JC. He started, I think he was 19 years old, going to college. He was single. He was a bad dancer. I'd go out with him and watch him try to talk to women. Mm-hmm. And he gained so much confidence. He literally met his wife by standing in the back of like an exercise room, and he shouted out in front of like 30 people, "I love you and I want to marry you." And like, she didn't even know who he was. That was how he got his first date.
She didn't know who he was?
No, but talk about having some confidence, right? And he runs 14 years later, and he's the guy as the general manager today. He's got 2 kids. He's been married for I don't know how many years. And the same thing with almost all the leaders. Daniel Castilla, Sally she's a girl who was picked to play on the Argentinian Olympic team. And she said, I would rather stay at Listen Trust and help you build this because your vision and your dream of what this company can be is too strong for me to leave. And so she stayed with us and helped run the company. And this kid, Isaac Dick, who I was like, who's this kid? Because he used to take all the afternoon calls and get a lot of customer service. Yeah. And I'm just like, this guy, Isaac, we need to fire him. 14 years later, he's still with us. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm trying to talk a whole episode about how proud I am of the way these guys have grown and developed. So back to my book and Dream Trust.
Yes.
And inspiring others, right? Inspiring others within the call. We decided to start to train our employees on how to quit because they don't want to be a call center agent, right? They want to be dancers and artists and firemen and doctors and lawyers, and they want to work for the government and they want to be police. And I'm like,
I got dreams.
If I don't want my kids to be forced to work for me. If I were talking to all of these people as if they're my own children, I would want to help them become the best version of who they can be. And so we started offering trainings within the center and really, so we built out 6 pillars of happiness, right? And we start with, so January, for example, and June are health. And so all month we talk to our employees about health. We have weigh-ins, we have a dentist come check their teeth. We bring them condoms. We talk about all the things that they need to, women, check your breasts and check for,
That's
lumps and things like
important.
that. All
Yeah.
these things. And so the month that we do contests for weight loss, we do contests for all these pieces in health. And then in month 2, we talk about wealth and how you can save money and, how you can invest your money. And so we really want to teach our employees how to be responsible. We talk about time off. What is your dream vacation and how are we going to accomplish that as a company? What are your dreams? And we continue to go through. We have 6 pillars, and then we also talk about hairy, audacious goals. Like, what are your bucket list things that you want to do, and how are we going to help you do those things? And we've put training together. So somebody who's doing a regular job and they want to do things should look at it first as a side hustle, right? They want to accomplish things as this is their side hustle. So we had a lawyer who graduated from college, and he came to work for us on the telephones. And he wanted to work for a law firm, but he couldn't find a job. So we taught him how to do podcasts. And he went and interviewed lawyers on his podcast about what they did and what they were good at. Lo and behold, he took a lot of notes, and he found out that there was a hole in the legal system, and he put out a shingle, and he says, I'm going to specialize in this niche. Nobody else was in the niche. He had interviewed like 25 lawyers. Every lawyer he interviewed referred the business that he was a specialist in to him. He opened a thriving law practice in under 4 months. And
doing the podcast.
Because we taught him how to find the niche and how to hang out his signal and find an area. And so he learned how to take his side hustle. The side hustle was the podcast. He wasn't making any money interviewing, but we've taught him how to turn that into a full-fledged business. We had another girl who wanted to do a restaurant, so we taught her about social media marketing and how you have to post 3 to 4 times a week. We taught him about programmatic media and Facebook media and how you can basically run a geofence around your business, and you can do targeted ads to people within a 15-mile radius of your business, 5-mile radius, whatever, and it doesn't cost that much. It's like $300 a week or whatever, and so you only have to sell around 30 people to break even on your media dollars. And so if you want to open a thriving restaurant, here's how you do it. You first get your social media going, create great content. Let's run a contest and offer $100 off your meal, right? $100 coupon off your next dinner for the best video who talks about the restaurant and the positive experiences they've had there, right? So now you've got 100 videos of people who've eaten at your restaurant. You pick a winner, but you've now got content of people saying great things about your business that you can edit into a 30-second or 1-minute video.
That's amazing.
It doesn't cost any money. Almost everything that you want to do in your life, you can accomplish and do without anything. So let's talk about music. I mean, I'm working on becoming a musician.
Let's talk about it.
I am making money as an artist. I'm doing it by writing jingles and things like that. But I want to win a Grammy. That's my big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't even care about making money at this point. I mean, I want to write a hit. And so I've been trying to approach other Grammy writing artists. Number one, I've got some work for them. If they can write a jingle for me or whatever, maybe I can pay them for that. So there's value that I'm trying to bring. Okay. Number two, I'm a good marketer. So if someone's a Grammy award-winning writer, I'm going to give them all my marketing experience. So I'm going to show them how to personally improve their own personal brand. Maybe they have a product or a service they're trying to sell. One Grammy award-winning writer I was talking to was trying to sell T-shirts. And I was like, oh, well, let me help them sell some T-shirts, and I helped them, come up with kind of a concept. And I was like, okay, let's do it this way. Another guy had a business. This guy Justin Gray, who owns Midio.com, MDIO.com. He writes hit records for Justin Bieber, Alanis Morissette, Ariana Grande, John Legend. Well, it turns out he was trying to raise some money for his company. So I'm like, well, who can I introduce him to? I introduced him to Tony Hsieh from Zappos, who loves music. He's an amazing violinist, and you wouldn't know it. And he's an amazing human being, right? And I introduced him to Richard Branson, and Branson referred him out to his team.
This guy?
Yes. I introduced Justin like 10 other people. I'm like, let me introduce you to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. But I just was trying to bring value. And as it turns out, Justin had listened to some of my music and said, your hooks are amazing. He goes, I think some of your rhyme schemes are a little amateur. Let me put you with a couple of Grammy Award-winning writers that, can help you with your verses a little bit. You're probably going to
Yeah.
have to give up a little bit of your writing credits, right? You're going to have to give up 20, 30%, whatever. He goes, but they're going to help you. He goes, and some of them are good enough that they may ask you to pay them a mentoring fee, like $500 or whatever. I'm like, let's do it. And as a result, I've got 5 new records with some Grammy Award winning writers, and I've got like the Chainsmokers have one that they're considering, and I mean, they're good records, right? I haven't
No,
played them for people.
they're really good. Like I was in awe. I was listening to each and every song. Each of them had a story that I know someone who could relate to. I have wrote down one of the songs that I was listening to today, Toxic Love. And I listened to that the other day as well. That one really sat with me. I'm a survivor of many things. So when I hear this song, it's
And
like
the lyrics in that song, it
the
hurts so
lyrics
good.
is
I know
so.
it's back. It's back and forth.
What inspired you to write that song, to do that song? That song is
Women,
wow.
what can I say? Women always inspire me. Somebody
Was it
gave
like
me,
a personal experience for you, or was it something you observed?
it was a personal experience for me. I've had relationships that have
Hmm.
had, I like challenges. I like to help people. I like to help people grow. So sometimes it's not unusual for me to date somebody with issues, right? So, because I think I can fix them. I think I can help them. The
I
problem
did
with
that
doing
for a
that is
long time.
once you fix them, they break up with you and go marry somebody who doesn't know about their problems, right? That's the theory. I don't know. But yeah, it was this, sometimes the toxicity is passion too, right? You're passionate for each other because you really love each other. And, that passion can create that back and forth. And sometimes it does feel good, So I was like, this is a song.
That's it. It's a hit.
And I write songs from one line all the time. Like I wrote something down the other day, leave me lost until I want to be found. And I've just recently written a whole song around that. And I just think that that's beautiful, right? If someone's trying to help you,
I'm
but
writing notes.
you've been so heartbroken that you just like, just please just leave me lost till I'm ready to be found, okay? Because right now I just don't want to be around. Found, around, I'm underground. There's all kinds of rhyme schemes around it, and and so I'm like, talk about a great line for a record.
Yeah, it's really
Another one
nice.
would be, when I was married, my wife used to have these his and her pillows, and she'd make the bed every morning, and she'd put the his and her pillows in the bed. And so I wrote this song called, she was so proud of the his and her pillows when she made up the king size bed, and I'm like, it's such a great line, that I'm going to write a Beatlesque type song around that.
Yeah,
People
wow.
are wondering what type of music I rap. I know you guys don't believe
Oh
it,
no,
but
no, really, like you really rap. And then
like
most of the
I'm
songs
a
that I listen
Beatlesque.
to.
I'm like a Beatles fan who loves Eminem, right? If Paul McCartney and Eminem did a record together, that would be a lot of what I think kind of right.
I think this one cutting it off because my face is there. But that one is like one of my favorites on YouTube. I know that is like, I know you're probably like, why, Sherontelle? But it just made me feel like I really wanted to visit Maine. Like I really didn't know a lot about it.
It's interesting. So
It just
I
seemed
did a
fun.
I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy, and a friend of mine got me on Broadway in New York City at Caroline's.
Uh-huh.
And most people start off with 5 minutes. But I was like, you know what? I jumped out of an airplane from 32,000 feet. I don't go small, right? So I wrote a 30-minute set with 5 original songs. And I went up on stage and I did it. And I've been approached by Amazon. It was Amazon at the club, but I'm since reached out to Netflix. And they're like, if you build this out to an hour, we'd be interested. Because it's unique. There aren't a lot of people that are merging music and comedy. And the funny, like, so,
That's amazing.
and so my introduction, the reason the main song was written was because I said, happy to be in New York. I love New York. Just kidding. I hate New York. I'm a Red Sox, Yankees. I'm a Red Sox fan, a Patriots fan, and I'm like, so I was gonna write another song about New York, but who needs another song about New York, right?
No,
So I'm gonna say
really.
Maine. I wrote a song about Maine, so I wrote this little jingle about Maine, and then I happened to do the video around it. And the video came
But
out
you
really
were,
good.
but you were, yeah, it was, and you were rapping and you were in the groove, and I was like, yes, that is super cool. I have to send a shout out to my sponsor, 10K Cards. It's a digital business wallet, literally. Like with that link, you can send to someone, and all of your social media sites, your websites, anything that's connected basically on social media is all in that one place. And I think also I sent you something too. There he is. He's there. I also sent you something too where you can use the scan part where it's actually like a bookmark. My face is under Netflix on my phone. My face is under Netflix. My son was like, "You got your own app," and I was like, yep," because it got my name up
That's so
under my
cool.
picture. I know it's so cool. So I know afterwards you'll check it out.
And
Just get
God
to look
bless
at it a
sponsors.
little bit.
It's really amazing to have a sponsor that helps, with allowing you the freedom to do this so people can get all this knowledge. So, yeah, definitely glad you brought your sponsor up. And if
Isn't
you need to
this
bring them up again, throw them in there.
bring them up? Okay, I have
Yeah,
to because those that bring not only just their business but their passion for what they do. Because I feel like I always connect myself to those who have great intent, so much love to give, and they really are passionate about what they do. It's like a love. I put the t-shirt on today because I felt like that would be the frequency that we would definitely be on because you just literally embodied life. You got the experience. Yes, you've had some setbacks, in the past, but that only made you stronger to do what you do and also to help others build their businesses, also help others build their dreams and know that dreams are possible. That is the point of these conversations, is that I want people to know that you can create the life that you want. Know that it's going to be a process. I think that I seen that somewhere in your book where you were talking about the process of it, because it's definitely a process. I've been in business for 10 years and I have literally failed forward. like,
never failing. Never failing. It's
it's,
through every adversity. So, COVID hit. We had to move our call center, right, to at-home agents. We had to do it within a week. And a lot of people might be stressed by that, but we happen to be prepared because we plan in our business for the inevitable, right? And when we sent agents home, we take a lot of what's called a direct response television phone call, where an ad's on a Saturday morning, and you get 1,000 calls like this. And so a lot of times we would actually have shows that run in the middle of the night, and we would actually have to bring in like 100 agents to handle 1 hour of a call spike. But what we were able to find, the silver lining in all of this, was that the agents did a great job of handling the calls from their home. So now, even as they go back to work, we know that we don't have to bring 100 agents in. We can just have them set their alarm and crawl out of bed and pick up a phone. So that way we could do a better job of handling clients' calls at less of an expense for us, less of an expense for our employees. Not only that, but other call centers who weren't prepared, our business increased by 30% almost overnight. So we actually saw a huge increase in our revenues. So many cool things happened. And then, with the whole COVID thing happening, what was kind of weird is, I want to live my passion, right? My COO quit and bought a golf course. That was his passion. I'm like, oh man, I hate that my operations guy quit. But I'm teaching all these people how to live their passion. And I'm literally doing operations in my call center. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to do operations. So I decided with my business partner that we were going to sell our business. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do next? And I didn't really know. I did some coaching and consulting. And I had people giving me 10 grand a day to help them with marketing. But what I found was that most people look at marketing the way that I look at biology, right? Or algebra. I'm pretty good at math, but when you start throwing the X's and the O's in there, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Right?
the formula. I don't,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not really sure. And so I said, too bad I didn't have a marketing agency that could help people execute. Well, along the same time, I'm pushing my own influencer type campaigns. I've got a team that I built because it was going to cost a lot to do it through outsourced services. And I had people asking me if they could use my team that I built. And I'm like, maybe it's a business. I don't know. And so I had a couple people test it. And then so I had 6 people sign up, and then they each referred 3 people within a couple of weeks. So each referred 3 people. Within 60 days, I had 40 clients billing out almost $500 million a year in revenue. And that was all in 60 days. And I wasn't even planning on doing anything with it. And we're managing people's social media for them, and we're actually pushing content back to their social media to help sell and create. Hang on, this is my little girl. Say hi.
Oh my goodness, hi. She's a beauty. Hello.
I know, there's over 100 people that are watching you.
They're like, wow.
Like,
and I think that the success of that is that when you found a problem, right? And then you were able to fulfill that problem. That's the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur.
And the thing is, almost anybody who's listening, if they've got a challenge, or they just have to think creatively as to where the solution is. I like to think of it, what's the mechanism to succeed, right? There's always a buyer and there's always a service, right? What's the mechanism? If you want to be an entrepreneur, all you've got to do is focus on the mechanism, right? And it can be anything, right? I mean, if somebody wants to teach parrots to talk, right, you don't have to know how to teach parrots to talk. You can write a book about it by going to somebody who can teach parrots to talk. There's people out there that want to learn how to teach parrots to talk. So the mechanism is you're going to go and interview people who know how to teach parrots to talk and create a book, and now you can sell a product. Now you've got a mechanism to succeed. So I don't believe anything, there's nothing in life that you can't do if you put your mind to it. And like, I run other people's social media for them, but if you want to do your own influencer stuff and your own stuff, all you have to do is push out content 3 to 4 days a week. And here's one of the secrets: go in and one-on-one message people in your networks, at your LinkedIn, so on Instagram. I want to be a songwriter. I have a team, right? So I'm, but you can do this yourself. I visit almost 2,000 profiles with the hashtag songwriter per day. And I have my team comment, nice song, nice record, nice this, nice that. And all I'm trying to do is create engagement and create relationships. And inevitably, some of those people follow me, and some of those people start smart conversations outside of just answering on the comment. And it's how I met Adam McInnes, for example, from the Billboard 500 group. And he said, Craig, you're a great writer. Love to have you in the group. We're only going to let a certain number of people in, certain talent level. But that's how I met him. And now I'm in the group, and he just wrote a song for the Fast and the Furious movie, and he's working with me on a record this month, and we're going to get it in some sync opportunities. Sync is like for commercials or, TV shows or whatever. There's a lot of sync opportunities to write. And I met him through doing that, visiting profiles, right? So LinkedIn, you can visit almost 100 people out of network every day.
I love LinkedIn.
Here's a secret. Don't just send a message, right? Everybody sends a message. The way to do it, I've tried video, I've tried pictures, and I've tried messages. The way to work it is to create a picture, sometimes a montage of pictures. I have 10 pictures, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So instead of writing a 10,000 word essay, I put these 10 pictures together to give you an idea of who I am. And I think there's some opportunity for us to do things together. I think I can help you, and you can help me. You can't approach somebody and just say, I need your help, right? You don't want to go that approach. You want to say, I think we should help each other. And if there's an opportunity to help each other, I'd love to talk further. If you're interested, great. If not, no big deal. Guys, I'm sending about 100 messages to people I don't know and over 500 to people that are in my network. If somebody doesn't reply, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm like water off a duck, right? Just not going to bother me. But I've got all these people that tend to reply, and after a couple of weeks, you're actually having hundreds of conversations every day with people, and I'm helping people every single day. And some of them decide they want to work with me. And God love them if they do. It's like women. If they want to sleep with me, that's great. If they don't, that's great too. It doesn't mean I love them. Right?
Exactly. It doesn't even
I had to
matter.
throw that in. I had to throw that in just for fun.
What about this picture? I wish I could show better.
Well,
It cut
it's
it
a little
off
bigger.
so big. Yeah.
I played Elton John on I decided I was going to be Elton John for a karaoke
Uh,
night, and not only did I decide to sing an Elton John song, but I went all out. Like I don't do anything halfway. So I ended up dressing up like Elton, in order to sing the Crocodile Rock in front of the audience.
that is
So
so amazing. I love that picture because that picture is fun. I have put just a few pictures on there that I just felt like was just so important.
I,
I even
I've
on the
dressed up as
ad.
I dressed up as Adele.
You
One
did
year
Adele?
I did Adele,
Adele.
and yeah, I thought I was going to do Madonna, but I'm a little bit bigger than that, and then Adele was a little bit heavy once, so I passed off Adele like no problem at all. I did Marilyn Monroe once, and the high heels were size 13 men's high heels.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, I've dressed up as Bacchus, the wine god, when I went to Necker Island. We got the mug that you can't set down. It was in the olden days they had mugs that you couldn't set down, so it was always full of wine, right? So it was shaped like a
Wow.
lion, and I created my own wine thing for my head, my own toga
Yeah,
with
I
perfume.
love it. I love this picture.
We did a zombie crawl just for fun one night. We went bar hopping, and I brought in 3 zombie artists, and they crumble up the cereal and they put it all over your face. And we all dressed up like one of my friends was a zombie clown. I was a doctor. I was a surgeon, and we all just kind of crawled through town. There was like 15 of us, and we just made it a big party, a big zombie crawl through town. The crazy things in my life that the adventures I did. Africa, we did the great white shark dive. A lot of your listeners don't know it, but male sharks have 2 penises, which is very informative.
That is very informative too.
Yes, and I thought to myself, if I had 2, I'd probably have an STD at some point because I only have one. I take care of it, right? But if I had 2, I'd be like,
Right.
hey, good, I got a spare.
But do you think that when it passed to the other one?
I don't know what they do with those. Actually, I do know. I did some research.
You
Because
did?
sharks always have to be in motion, they put them
Hmm.
both in and they form a T. So they actually have sex and swim at the same time, which I personally can't do. I mean, I can't do the breaststroke or the crawl and have
I
sex at the
think
same
that
time. It's impossible.
yeah, I think that is absolutely amazing. It is so crazy how fast time go. I knew it because there's so much stuff that I want to talk about, and I'm going to try to get it in these next
Yeah, what
seven
else? What
minutes
else?
that
We
we
barely
have
covered
left,
music.
right?
We covered Dream Trust.
Barely. We covered a little bit about music. We let them in a little bit to say like, hey, make sure you check Craig Handley out on YouTube because he has some amazing funny videos on
A
there.
lot of comedy. A lot of comedy
A
on YouTube.
lot
And
of comedy. Like if you
a
love
couple of
life,
my real
you want to
tracks.
see his videos. Absolutely, because they are so much fun. Talk about living your dreams. Living your dreams is a process. That's exactly the purpose of this show is that I want people to know like yes, we're in a pandemic. Yes, life is happening. Unfortunately, people are passing away. People are sick. It's so many things that go on all at one time, right? But I want to be that voice and also to bring on other voices that somebody can get it through somewhere in their mindset that help them change to choose their path. Like you really have the ability to choose your path. You have the ability to create during this crisis. I am surrounded during this pandemic around creators. Like I absolutely love it.
I think it's so. Another tip for your listeners, again, on how to create their own vision. During this whole COVID thing, people are home more. And so I've seen a lot of people that I wanted to meet, producers, DJs. Like most people don't know who Jay Cash is. But Jay Cash is a writer who writes for Charlie Puth, and he writes for Maroon 5. And like once a week, he would do a Instagram live show, and people don't know him, so he had 50 people on the show, and he'd bring them on live, listen to their music, and end up creating a friendship, with the guy. Talk to him once in a while. Marty James. Marty wrote Despacito for the Justin Bieber part. I mean, and he was so accessible on Instagram. Just right there. And you message him, and he's like, hey, how you doing? I mean, just so many talented people. And the same goes in business. If you want to open a restaurant, I wouldn't be surprised if during COVID you could contact Chef Ramsay. He's probably doing nothing but sitting home making food, and you could just hook him up, dial him up.
That's
So,
the amazing thing about this time. Doing this is that I've been able to connect with even more people than I would have been able to connect with before this, honestly. Like
Yeah.
it's usually about like, let me check his calendar. No, I mean, what is this about? Like they will be out of town, but now people are really at home, so I'm able to like really take advantage of this time and have all of these amazing conversations for now, because this will change. This is just a moment in time. This is not forever, right? Let's also talk about, I'm trying to get it all in. A great entrepreneur must be able to effectively communicate, yes, um, focus, learn, strategize. What other three important skills does an entrepreneur need to succeed?
I mean, I think you've got to be
Did
patient.
I?
Number one, most people who build businesses,
Uh-huh.
most people who can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I'm writing it down. Patient.
I, I mean, most people that build businesses are super, super achievers, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people reminded me early on that there's only one of me, right? Just because I can do X, Y, and Z doesn't mean everybody can. So you got to be patient about it. You've got to have, you've got to recognize what you're not good at, right? So I know I've done operations and I'm okay at it, but
Mm-hmm.
there are people that are really good at operations. And guess what? Those people, those people that are good at operations are good. When I stopped doing operations, our business improved by 30%. So that tells you something. You've got to be humble at knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, and allow the people that are great at it to do their job. This new business I started, this girl, Karen, she was a school teacher and she was helping me. And I've been so impressed and blessed with how amazing she's been at execution,
Oh,
and every
awesome.
once in a while I still get frustrated and, I know she's got a lot to learn still, but I'm like, but I know how blessed I am to have her helping me build this business, and I think you've got to truly love and care about your people, right? A good entrepreneur, a good leader knows at least one level down who's working for him. So I know that JC is married with 2 kids. I know Isaac's got a girlfriend. I know Daniel Castilla has got a wife, and I know he's very, very in love with his dog,
That's so beautiful.
you know, and I know his dog's name. And I know Sally just had a baby about 4 months ago, and I keep track of her baby, and I know her husband. And I mean, everybody who works for me, I know who they are, what their passions are. I think you've got to know the people around you, and you've
Uh-huh.
got to truly love and care for them as if they're your own family. And if you do that, no matter what you do, even if I get angry or, because they know me and know I love them, a lot of times I can, I mean, you know how it is. You sometimes yell at your partner or whatever, but I just know that what I try to do as a good leader is just make sure I love the people around me. I'm horrible sometimes at explaining my plan, but it's in my head. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm trying to say. Why don't you guys understand? So I have to allow my team the ability to question me and to feed back everything that I want to execute on. And I've got to make sure they know that a lot of times I'm giving them a 3 to 6 month plan, not something I want done right now. Right? My brain just works. I see things in circles. I see ahead of the curve. Like I know where I want to be 6 months to a year from now. And sometimes I just throw it all out at them, and they're like, "What?" Right? I got to be careful,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what
you
else?
gotta what else?
I'm sorry, I'm
So,
running.
oh,
I know
so
you've got
another,
books to give away. You've got some books
yes,
to give
I
away
do.
for
I got
Jan.
a couple things to say. Yes. I want to give another shout out to 10K Cards, my sponsor, my amazing sponsor. I also want to give a shout out to everyone who has taken the time to spend an hour with us to talk about entrepreneurship, a little bit about music, a little bit about life and the impacts of COVID-19, good and bad. I really appreciate you all. He also says that on that link, he have added on your digital card a link to purchase your book.
Ah,
That's so cool.
I
Yeah.
just want to. I don't know I haven't met him, but I just want to give him a big hug. I'm gonna have to.
No, right? You're so
Maybe
loving.
I should write it. I should write a jingle for him.
Oh, wow, that is so sweet. Yeah, he added the link on the digital card that leads to the purchase of your
I'll tell
book.
you, flattery gets you everywhere.
That is so cool. Oh my God. this is so awesome. So I get to pick someone also for a 10K card, a business card. So I'll pick someone out. I'm checking out and seeing everybody that's on here. Shout out to DJ Butterrock and 10K cards and all of these names. Is so many. I'm sure Miriam Speaks is on here. I have some people that's on here every single weekend. I really, really appreciate them. But you guys got to get this book, Hired to Quit, Inspired to Stay. Craig Handley. I actually ordered a book that'll be here tomorrow, which I'm also going to give away because I have a signed copy and I have a few copies that I'm going to give away here. I'm going to send a special message to your inbox. I'm picking a few people. I see some people that were engaging. I'm going to pick the one that I felt that was most engaging, and I am going to give you a free copy of this amazing book. How I want to end this today usually is one word, but I wrote something special for you. So this is a little different today, how we're going to end this. If Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Tony Robbins were all coming for dinner, what's on the menu?
What's on the menu? If they're all coming to dinner? Tequila. I'm going to break out this 1942 tequila.
Okay.
We're going to start there because you know what they say, I want to make sure that I loosen them up a little bit. So we start off and then, I don't know. I'm kind of a steak kind of guy. So maybe a little bit of steak on there, but, it's funny. I've been to a lot of dinners. I've actually been to dinners with like Paul DiGiorio, and I know that Branson's a big sushi fan. I love sushi. When you're on Necker Island, Branson brings out these canoes in his pools, and they're filled with sushi, just loaded with sushi.
So cool.
And you have to get in the pool to eat your lunch. So, Branson's a big sushi fan, so maybe we do some sushi. Because the thing about sushi is you can eat it and talk at the same time. It's just I have so much to say and learn. I actually would say very little. I'd ask questions and listen. What's funny is the first time I met Richard, everybody had a chance to ask him something, and we went around the room, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait until I hear everybody else's and ask him. And I never got my chance to ask him because I was like too scared. I was scared to death. And Richard, here's a Richard Branson story that most people don't know. We're sitting on the beach, and we're having a barbecue on the beach. We're all dressed up like pirates. And I hear Branson over near the ocean. He goes, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm calling my sharks. Come on, cut it out. And he grabs a chicken and throws it in the ocean. And I'm like, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, there are two sharks that are getting the chicken. And he goes, I raise those two sharks in my saltwater swimming pools. And when I go swimming in the morning, these two sharks swim with me. He goes, they're my two pet sharks.
No,
how
really?
Cool. How much of a rock star do you have to be to have two pet sharks that live in the ocean?
That is amazing. That
swim with you and escort you on your morning swims around the island.
No,
That's how cool. That's how cool Richard Branson is. There's a story that most people have no idea and that's a true story.
That's amazing.
I don't know any other. It's got to be true, right? He was whistling threw the chicken in. The sharks were right there. I saw him. And he's like, yeah, I swim with it in the morning. And I'm like, is that true? And it has to be true. They were right there.
It has to be true. It was there. And they didn't do anything to him.
No. The other thing about Necker Island is it is true that Richard did build a toilet right on the beach facing the ocean. So if you want to go out in the morning and take a very relaxed morning meditation session, you go out to the bathroom just facing the
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Craziness.
Well, I know we're at the end. This is so sad. Shout out again. Thank you so much, 10K Cards.
Music. We should have played some music. What's going on?
Should have played. You know what? A lot of times I don't because, with all of the licensing and the rights and all of that, I often wonder, can I put it, will I be able to put it on my YouTube page and all of that?
You fit it with somebody who's not produced, right? So I'm not
Right.
produced. I'm not. I own all my own stuff. So
Oh, okay. So it would have been okay to do that.
I own my
Well,
own stuff. I'm still a free agent.
well, see, then you got to come back and then we'll just do like a, maybe we can do like a Music Monday.
Yeah. So for your listeners, if any of them have any, want to reach out with any questions or whatever, they know how to find me on Instagram now.
Absolutely. They can definitely find you on Instagram. And please follow Craig Handley on Instagram. And also, I'm going to be giving copies that he sponsored to us that I am giving away. Hired to Quit, Inspired to Stay. Thank you so much. Love, light, and energy to you and the family. And kiss that beautiful little girl on the forehead and tell her, Sherontelle, say hello.
Sounds good.
I'll talk to you later. All the
Thanks,
best.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.